Well, I mean, I think just, not taking for granted and just, being in the moment of us being on the floor once again. That's two games back to back, playing meaningful minutes and, and him also making another play. Obviously they was making a run in that second quarter, and they did make a run in that second quarter. But, just for me, I just always made the right play. I got doubled, and he was able to make, fake the pass to the corner and then knock down the three. So definitely a cool moment, for us and also for our family.
What if one of the most uncomfortable moments in LeBron James' career never really disappeared? What if it just waited for the internet to bring it back at the worst possible time? Because that's exactly what happened. In early 2025, an old clip came roaring back online. Not a rumor, not a fake story, a real moment people had seen before, but this time it hit harder. And once it started spreading, it was everywhere. Timelines, comment sections, group chats, podcasts, everybody had something to say. The clip was simple. LeBron joking around, mocking Dirk for being sick during the 2011 finals, laughing about a cough before the series was even finished. At the time, some people brushed it off, but years later, with legacies under a microscope, it landed very differently. Because Dirk wasn't just dealing with a little cold. He was out there fighting through serious illness on the biggest stage of his life. No excuses, no drama, no attention-seeking, just showing up and battling anyway. And on the other side, you have LeBron and the Heat. Loud, confident, celebrating early, acting like the ending was already written. That's what made the clip sting all over again. It wasn't just the joke. It was the timing. It was the attitude. It was the fact that the player being laughed at ended up winning the war. And suddenly, an old video became something bigger. Not just a bad look. Evidence. Evidence in the minds of fans who were already debating LeBron's legacy. Evidence for people who always felt there was a line between confidence and arrogance. Evidence that one small moment can follow you forever. And just when people thought the story couldn't get louder, Vince Carter stepped into it. That's when this stopped being just another viral basketball clip and turned into a real conversation about respect. Because when Dirk spoke, people paid attention fast. Not because he was chasing headlines, not because he needed attention, but because Dirk had lived through that entire era. 22 seasons, different generations, different locker rooms, different versions of the NBA. He played against LeBron. He played with and against legends. And he came from a basketball culture where respect wasn't optional. It was automatic.
That and, playing against each other. I mean, last time I played him one-on-one, I don't know if this story just came out, but he broke a backboard at our house in Miami. Yeah, it was, yeah.
There you go. Say that.
So when people started hearing that Vince had addressed the clip in a private setting, the reaction changed immediately. This wasn't just fan outrage anymore. Now a respected veteran was stepping into the discussion, and his voice mattered because Dirk mattered. Dirk was never the loudest star in the room. He didn't build his legacy through drama. He built it through suffering, consistency, loyalty, and work. Year after year, no shortcuts, no character act, no fake toughness. That's why fans took the clip personally when it resurfaced. They remembered Dirk dragging a franchise on his back. They remembered him carrying Dallas through pressure. They remembered him playing sick on the biggest stage and still delivering when it mattered most. And then they looked back at LeBron, laughing, mocking, treating that struggle like it was nothing. That didn't sit right. Not in 2011, and definitely not in 2025. The reaction got harsher because the context got bigger. Now people weren't just looking at one moment, they were looking at what that moment revealed. How one superstar handled pressure, how another handled pain, how one talked before the job was done, and how the other finished the job anyway. And that's what set the stage for Vince's words to hit like a hammer. According to people who were there, Vince didn't dance around it. He didn't give some soft, polished answer. He didn't hide behind PR language. He reportedly said, "Ty played through things most players wouldn't even attempt. He never needed attention to prove who he was. And when you laugh at somebody pushing through pain at the highest level, that says more about you than it does about them. That line spread fast. Then came the part people couldn't stop repeating. The game humbles everybody. Some players just learn it the hard way. He never had to say LeBron's name. He didn't need to. Everybody knew exactly what moment he meant. And that's when this whole story reached another level. Because now it wasn't just about a clip, it was about mindset. It was about the difference between being confident and thinking you're above the game. That's the twist that made this hit so hard. The clip was never really about coughing, it was about what the moment exposed. LeBron and Miami looked like they were already celebrating a title that hadn't been won. Ty looked like a man barely holding himself together and still ready to fight.
And Luka too, and I think you started down this path with Austin, in that you started empowering him. You started like picking more spots, saying like, I don't need to control everything. As we feel in the heart of our career, you feel like we can't lose, I can't give the game away. When it comes down the stretch, I'm gonna make every decision, right? So empowering your teammates is important, especially when you're near 22.
Absolutely.
Right? So what I've been impressed with everybody, but in particularly you, is your ability to be a spacer.
And then the finals played out like a warning. The player who got mocked, he rose up. The team that got loud too early, they got humbled. That's why fans keep dragging this moment back into the GOAT debate. Because legacy is not just rings and stats. It's not just MVPs and highlights. It's also the moments that show who you are when pressure starts squeezing everything out of you. And in this story, Ty looked stronger than ever. Vince sounded like the voice of the old code. And LeBron? For a lot of people, he looked exposed. Not as a player, but as a competitor in that exact moment. And that made the silence that followed feel even louder. Because here's what made everything even more uncomfortable. LeBron said nothing. No post, no interview, no public response, no attempt to explain it away, just silence. Now maybe some people will say that was smart. Don't feed the story, don't give it more oxygen, let it die on its own. But this didn't feel like a story that was dying. It felt like a story that was settling in. And the longer the silence lasted, the more people read into it. Fans started saying the same thing everywhere. If this moment didn't matter, why not address it? If it was harmless, why not own it? If there was growth, why not show it? And that's where this story becomes bigger than LeBron. It becomes about what greatness really means. Because greatness is not just domination. It's not just numbers. It's not just being more talented than the guy across from you. It's how you carry yourself when the pressure is highest. It's whether you respect the opponent in front of you. It's whether the people who shared the court with you respect your game and your character. Ty's legacy got stronger because he never needed to scream. Vince's words hit because they came from experience, not performance. And LeBron's old moment came back because the internet never forgets, especially when arrogance and defeat